I'm very glad to be here today because exceeding expectations is something that's very close to Pakistanis in general. Because the moment we are born, the weight of expectations is upon us. The first question they ask is that, is the baby fine? Does the baby look better than other babies? And what kind, is it a boy or a girl? Or is the baby meeting its milestones? So the moment we're born, expectations, the weight of it is on us. And as we grow older, our parents expect us to exceed expectations all the time. It's like we need to get good grades, we need to do well in school, we need to be a good child. And I wonder now that, if I had known, if only I had known that good grades do not guarantee a good and happy life later on, then things would have been different. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, back in school and everything, we are taught to do well, to exceed expectations all the time. So even within ourselves, we try to exceed our own expectations. Like, for example, we are always striving to to do well, to get a good job, to do a good business, or maybe to keep everyone happy, to make everyone happy in the family. And I'm sure that you're all old enough to know that that's a very futile exercise because it never works. You can't make everyone happy in this world. So yeah. Now, as an author, talking about expectations, we have a lot of expectations as well, on me. As authors, we are expected to exceed the expectations of our agents, first of all the agent, then the editor, then the publisher, and most of all the readers. You may have come across a lot of, the gentleman here was talking about my debut novel, In the Company of Strangers. Now, that's the problem with debut novels, that if a debut novel is good, you're stuck. A lot of people feel that debut novels, okay, this author has done really well, he's making millions and whatever. But writing a good second novel is perhaps one of the most difficult things in life because you have all these expectations that you have to exceed. And that terror actually prevents a lot of people from even writing the next book. So you'll realize that a lot of people who write one novel don't write another because they feel the pressure is so intense to exceed expectations that they're like, we can't do it. And a lot of really big authors have stopped writing because of that. The creativity has vanished. So this is a very real construct. It's a very difficult and a very a real thing, the weight of these expectations. The need to exceed expectations, it's good, it's a good thing. But we have to understand that it's also a very difficult thing to achieve. And how the world receives our work, whether they receive it well or not, it's neither here nor there. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand whether we are being true to ourselves or not, whether we are honoring ourselves or not. And I think that is the true measure of a person. And that is what I feel is important when it comes to exceeding expectations, that are you honoring yourselves as a person, in whatever work you're doing? Because I feel that most of the time, especially in Pakistan, we are jumping through hoops. We're trying to make people happy. We're trying to, do well. I'll tell you a little secret. So I have a bachelor's. I have a bachelor's degree and I have a master's degree as well. Both of these degrees have nothing to do with writing. My bachelor's is in economics and psychology, and my master's is in business management. And at the time, because of all those expectations back when I was your age, I think you're all students, so at that time it made sense to do the sensible thing, right? Do an economics degree or a business management degree that'll help me. And I do think that my parents might have paid for a creative writing degree, but that's the thing, in my own head, I felt that no, creative writing is not gonna do it for me. So I went ahead and did my bachelor's and master's in completely very dry subjects, and I was bored throughout. I hated them. I hated economics most of all because I felt that it didn't make any sense to what I was doing or what I wanted to do. And I really struggled to understand this importance. I shouldn't be saying that in college, but I really did struggle to understand the importance of economics, to be honest. I was like, why did I not do creative writing? And when you're in college, you realize that when you're taking a major, you can't really do anything else. You're stuck studying the same subjects over and over again. It's microeconomics, it's macroeconomics, it's world economics, it's international finance. And I'm like, it doesn't stop. So by the time I was 25, I realized that I'd been jumping through hoops all my life. I'd been trying to be the good son who came back, who returned to Pakistan after studies, and I'd tried to be the responsible person, tried to make everyone happy. But somewhere down the way, I felt that I'd somehow lost my way, and that's when I realized that no matter what I do in life, obviously, I hope you all know enough about writing, about publishing in general, that there are very few authors who are able to write full time, and a lot of authors have to have other stuff they do before they get to a point where they can, write full time. So I was like, whatever I do in my life, I'll always write on the side, because that made sense. That kept me sane in a place like Pakistan, where everyone's trying to pull you in, different directions, and talking about expectations, like I said, you do well. You're supposed to do well in school, and then like a good boy, you're supposed to get married, and then you have to have, after marriage, you have to have that baby as well, And once you've had one, like you need to have another, and then you need to, in Urdu they're like, jodi kar lo. So it's like, after 4, then the weight of babies is, when that's over, then there's some other weight of expectations. Like when you cross like 45 or 50, the expectations change, and then you're supposed to do something else. So that is how it works throughout your life. But when you put your heart and soul into something, I feel that it's very important to be financially rewarded for it. Yes, I mean that everyone wants that. We all need to pay bills, don't we? And that's something a lot of people in Pakistan don't understand when it comes to authors, that you're supposed to buy those books and pay for them. A lot of people send me messages, they're like, can I get a PDF? I'm like, are you actually asking me for a PDF? It's like blatant theft, and you're actually asking me to commit that theft for you. So I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. But still, there's something beyond that financial reward as well, I feel. It's the fact that when someone comes up to you and they say that your book changed my life, or your book made my heart sing, I think that in its essence is what exceeding expectations is all about, at least for me. That is the ultimate thing for me, where someone actually comes up to me and says that your book changed my life. And I remember back when the pandemic started, we were all stuck at home, and it was a very frustrating experience. And I remember I was reading this book called A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles, and that book is about a man who's stuck in a hotel for many years. He can't get out of the hotel. And that made me realize that no matter how bad you think your life is, there are people who have it much worse than you. So that made the pandemic make a little bit more sense to me. So this is what I'm talking. I think this is what it matters when it comes to being an author, that you're able to change someone's life, or make them relate to something, or make them understand something better. That I feel is what exceeding expectations is all about. And unfortunately, I was talking about this here in the, what do you call it, green room maybe. We were talking about the fact that publishing is a business at the end of the day. It might seem like it's not, but it is. It's all about, because they have to, we all have to pay bills, and the publishing industry, they have to maintain their offices, they have to pay their salaries and everything. So they will always prioritize something that sells, that works well. But I don't believe that books should only be about that. Why do we read books? Why do we go and look at art? Entertainment, yes, that is one aspect of it, but also something else. It's a connection. It's a soul connection. We want to be connected with that piece of work. That is what we want to do at the end of the day. And I feel that books are like a unique vehicle for that. Can you reach another person and change their life? Going back to the pandemic, I'll, again, a personal example that I was very close to my paternal grandmother, my dadi, and she passed away in 2020 when COVID happened and everything. And again, because I was so close to her and everything, again, the world didn't make sense, and the grief didn't make sense. And again, it was books that made sense to me. I was reading this book called The Weekend by Charlotte Webb. And that book is about grief. And when I read it, it made me feel a lot better. It helped me cope with my grief, and it made the world, it made everything made a little more sense to me. And I remember I reached out to Charlotte and I told her, I reached out and I talk about her book on BBC shows, and wherever I am, I try to talk about it. And I reached out to her and I was like, your book actually did help me through that very difficult time in my life. And she actually responded to me. She's like, this is what I always want to hear, that my book was able to influence someone's life. And I think she mentioned it in one of her shows as well, that she was doing an episode with someone. She's like, a reader reached out to me about that. So this is what it is. I feel that when this happens, then I feel that you have exceeded expectations as an author. Definitely. So, so please excuse the papers. It's just that after COVID, the one thing that's really suffered is my memory. I don't have the same memory anymore. I don't know if any other person here has had the same thing, but yeah, I really struggle with my short-term memory, so hence the papers here. So as creatives, we want to be seen and heard, but as creatives, we also want to see and hear. So a work that makes us feel seen and heard, or that helps us see and hear, is a work that is special, not just special, but something that actually exceeds expectations, I feel. So I'm sure that if you think about it, there must be a book out there somewhere that helped you feel seen and heard. So if you think about it, there must be, one of those books out here. Having said that, since we all live in Pakistan, it is also okay to not meet expectations all the time. It is also okay to just be. The idea of being, just existing, that's fine too. You don't have to be overachieving all the time. That's what not life is. Life is very short, actually. And I was, again, in the green room, I was talking to the volunteers here, and all of them are like 20, 21, and I'm like, I don't even remember what it's like to be a 21-year-old anymore, because I've spent all my life fulfilling expectations, trying to exceed expectations, trying to just live life, and I feel like there were times when I didn't even get to enjoy it. So I feel that sometimes it's also good to pause, take a breath, and just enjoy life as it comes. So, you're all in your early 20s, I think, except for the people in the front, us. So I'm 37 now, and I wish that I could go back. I wish I could be 21 again, and just be carefree for a bit. I wasn't carefree at 21. I was always trying to achieve this, trying to achieve that. Get here, this one is doing better than me. This person is doing a master's at 21. What am I doing? So all of these things, at the end of the day, they don't even matter. So it's also important to just be. Thank you. I still have a little more to say. I think, how much time do I have left? Okay, I'm good. So for the longest time in my life, I felt like life didn't matter, and that what I was doing both in my personal life and professional life didn't matter. And it was life was very dull and monotonous, and I'm sure that a lot of people again can relate to that here in Pakistan. It does feel that way, and just know that you're not alone. And but if someone had told me 10 years ago that there will be a time when you'll have 4 books out in the UK, and one of them would be an international bestseller, you'd have critical acclaim from UK press, and you'd have these amazing readers who will reach out to you. Some of them will be writing dissertations on your book. Some of them will be, writing papers on your book, and your book will be nominated for awards, and you'll be doing a TED talk in front of all these people. I would not have believed at all. I would be like, I don't believe it. I don't think it would have. So that's the thing. That was my dream, and now I feel that maybe achieved that dream, but that is it's human nature, isn't it? You want the next best thing. You're like, no, actually I want to go beyond this. 4 books, if you told 25-year-old me that you'll write 4 books, you'd be like, you're just joking. And 4 books that'll be published by good publishers, I'm like, that's never going to happen for me. And now I'm like, no, I actually want 10 books. I want 15 books. I want to, be the next Stephen King or something like that. So this is what it is about expectations, that they'll never end. So do try and be optimistic, be motivated, even if nothing is happening for you. Just trust in life, trust in the process, and it will eventually happen. And that's and even if you're not quite there yet, you're still, if nobody else is, you're exceeding your own expectations. Just because you're alive, you're breathing, and there's always that next day. So that, I think, in its essence, what exceeding expectations is, the fact that we're just going from one day to another. So yeah, so that's it. Thank you.